MPP's 2024 race is between Bawumia and Kennedy. Alan likely to be third. Alan is an analyst. Cheche muchira any.
You, Midasi, to say what kind, you know. I'm currently finishing my 7th book on the Ghanaian elections. Now, part of the book, you know, focus on MPP flag bearer groups. This is election limited to over 205,000 delegates who vote. So we took a sample size of delegates before the elections of the new one. We took sample sizes of delegates of people who then were delegates. We did some work. Then after the elections, we went back to the same constituencies because there was about 50-55% turnover, and went back to do the same thing. The first one, you know, I had known since October last year that Kennedy could contest. Into that first one, it was if Kennedy was in about 3rd place behind Bawumia and Alan. After the elections,
Mr. Obrof na kan ye no near clean ye. So can say Kennedy was in the 3rd place behind Bawumia, behind Alan and Bawumia, or behind Bawumia and Alan.
Behind Bawumia and Alan.
So it meant to say Bawumia number 1, Alan number 2, and Kennedy
was leading.
Bawumia was leading.
Yes.
Okay.
Now after the elections, you know, Kennedy has come out to say so about contested. Within that time, you know, a year after elections research, you know, in those constituencies, you know, and in those constituencies, the top 2 were now Bawumia and Kennedy, and Alan was in about 3rd place. Now, I will give you 2 main reasons. The rest, the book will come out in about 6 weeks. I'll give you 2 main reasons why Kennedy seems to have, Alan seems to have fallen into the 3rd place. Alan Kyerematen peaked in 2007 within MPP. Come on, Alan Cash. Delegates who are 30 years and below. Delegates being there. Some Alan Cash speaking, you know, 50 years. Okay. Alan has not worked in the party. Alan is known by delegates who are about 40 years now. Yeah, no, we knew. The 2007 he contested. Since then he has contested 2 or 3 times. Secondly, Agyepong is in his 22nd year as an MP, or the 6th term. 24, but no, I had 24 years. He is known within the party. So by the time I hear post-election research, you know, Kennedy had come into 2nd place. Now, I must let our listeners understand that until the elections are held, maybe next year, this is our projection. Because from 2007, 17 and impact 17, a contest, you know, MP, delegates, you know, candidates, you know, both fiber. A super college, electoral college will decide on the top 5. So the 2005 plus delegates, you know, will vote for the top 5.
Enti sa permutations here walking. Ubekana say a data driven and now say a suppositions.
Data driven.
Na data no yansa betimi aka.
Our book in the moon. Book in Baba out now about 6 weeks.
Na okay say Alan onye adwuma wo party num anwuma ben sa.
You see, the questions we asked, some of them were based on who do you know and why you vote for the person. Some of them say, oh, one will him. Minister. But in terms of say why you do more party mono, you are not aware. Those who have said they will vote for Alan, we could see from the demographics, there are those who are in their 40s who remember what Alan did in the 90s and so on. But for those very relatively young delegates, they don't remember what he has done. Now we need to bear in mind that if there are more than 5 and they are shortlisted to 5, those who drop out would ask their supporters to vote for possibly the shortlisted 5.
Enti omwa yebusa womo omo kan say omo nim Alan na omo nim adwuma kura waye de ama party no. If we are to ask say at a time a vice president Dr. Muhammad Bawumia or your vice president no na Alan a trade minister, right? And now before say vice president beba be vice president mpono na Alan no a trade minister under Kofo. Enti yemuso say a den na obi a waye trade minister I represented the New Patriotic Party no and na obi 30 years or less or say Alan Cash wanti said no kurada wonimu no kura wonye adwuma ma party no.
Utukwan. Ubisa a police section executive. Ubisa so on ministers run minister of social welfare. Only that is it. We need to bear in mind that Canada has been going around. We make presentations in parliament or around into Wupa. Some delegates police station. Who besides say why chief of staff, why minister of trade, why minister of finance? He doesn't know.
Anunti what's it Alan likely to be third? I mean say so likely no use of that word so I watch them say you data driven in likely how are we to take it? Say or 20% or 15% or 6%, and that's likely. How are we to interpret it?
When the book comes out, you see it.
Okay, and the book is out in about 6 weeks' time.
Yes, please.
Okay, it you bet me a focus so a highlight book no if indeed you perceive who no researcher a renowned Ben Ephson ya me adwene nkoso say you betwen book no.
Yes.
What can some basa say and ya tria sika de amana no woka bibia tia Alan wo can some basa cancer da bro pesa Alan be tria sika man no church sansem ye wo mu aye bi di ma wo mo.
So I'll try to be as polite as possible.
Be it because we a senior person. It infer before and our emotions and can be beer.
Oh, David, Master, I spent my 30th birthday in solitary confinement under Rollins. Don't fast, I don't remember. apart from the Kupon. So because obey car man. Tell you as if the ballot box the vote is in my pocket. That's right, yeah, it's not true. Because and I cover in 22 years, I've done 7 polls. I missed one, I got 6 correct. I've done 3 MPP will lose, 3 NDC will lose. If you go and collect money from a political party, say, I've done the research, you win this year's election. Like another time, can you write it? You can't write it. You cannot write it. But because I am baby dead, me delegate. Put me wrong. It's what you say. Yes, I mean, nobody's the guy that Makata Alan, baby dead, and now Bibia. Delegates, they have their own mind. I think people shouldn't underestimate the average delegate because my analysis of the 2020 elections indicates that a third of Ghanaian voters are swing voters.
A third of Ghanaian voters?
Yes. Only a swing voter will go to a polling station and vote for the parliamentary candidate of the opposition party and vote for the presidential candidate of the government in power. Only a swing voter will do that.